play 100 shows and one of them is killer. You don't get many like tonight.
Yeah. So, what happens next?
We come back tomorrow night and do it all again. What's wrong, Teach?
It's just, I've been waiting on this day for my entire life. I thought I'd feel different.
I heard this story about a fish. He swims up to this older fish and says, I'm trying to find this thing they call the ocean. The ocean, says the older fish, that's what you're in right now. This, says the young fish, this is water. What I want is the ocean. See you tomorrow.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Film Bros Podcast. My name is Isaiah Lucas, and I am joined by my co-host,
Abraham.
And Nick.
How you guys doing tonight?
I'm good. I wonder why you jolted.
He woke me up. I was dozing off, and I'm ready to talk.
You heard, welcome back, everybody, to the Film
I was,
Bros.
I was thinking about taking a drink and going like
Try to get one in real quick.
Yeah, but no. Got to be professional here, right?
Yeah, but as much as we can be.
How are you guys?
I'm doing good.
I'm good.
I feel like it's been a long time since I've seen you fools.
When it was only, you saw us yesterday?
I know. It hasn't even
Did we
been
see you
that
yesterday?
long. Did we?
I mean, I saw you yesterday. I don't know about all of us.
What were we doing? Oh, yesterday was
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen you in a minute.
Yeah, you came in my room because I was showing you Minecraft.
Dude, I'm still, jealous that you get time to play it.
Doing
I'm
my
gonna get my
job.
$20 worth.
Yes.
I play it every day.
Yeah. Well, did you spend today thinking about life and existence and what your purpose is and your spark,
I
or
hate
what?
my purpose. I don't know what my purpose is anymore.
Did that movie make you think about this, or what?
It did. Actually, no. I finished the movie and then I wrote up my theme. I finally actually was like, I have a theme for this movie. I wrote down 2. And then I had told Alexa, I was like, okay, I'm going to go shower. Like, I haven't showered today, so I'm going to go shower. And then in the shower, I started playing music, and then I said, nope, I'm going to shower silent. So I never shower silent. And I was like, man, what can I do better?
Shower thoughts.
Yeah, seriously,
Shower thoughts hitting.
I can do better.
I was like,
I can enjoy
what
life.
can I do? What?
Every second.
What's the next move?
Every drop on my body, I feel it.
But then my theme is contradicting what I think. So
Okay.
we'll talk about it later.
Interesting.
Yeah, I found myself waking up this morning. Well, first off, I got woken up this morning at 4:30 by some lady. Who
Dude,
was
I heard-
walking.
Back
was,
at it?
Yeah, no, she was walking and she just started going, "Stop, stop!" And I was like, "What is this lady doing, dude?" And she just kept walking by, and then I went back to sleep and I woke up and drove to work, and I had a hectic drive to work because school is starting again.
Yeah.
And then
Traffic's crazy.
Yeah, all this stuff was going on, and work is busy. And when I got to take a break, I was trying to call Alexa on my break, and then it was just that 15 minutes of like, okay, I can decompress. And I started I went on a walk, like I usually do, and I just I'm not gonna listen to anything. I'm gonna take my AirPods out and just kind of
Just listen.
be here and just
Mhm.
enjoy this. And I found myself being like, man, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for life. Like I may not be doing like what I thought I'd be doing when I was a kid, but regardless, I'm out here. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I-
That's what the movie's trying to get you to think, dude. It's trying to get you out of that disconnected from reality zone
Exactly.
and back into it.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
I feel like that guy at the stock market where he's like,
Make a trade.
I'm alive.
Make me a trade.
Yeah. And he starts going, I'm alive. Live your life. It's out there.
Like so visceral, just like, I gotta get out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool to hear that because you normally crap on Pixar or Disney movies.
Yes, and I
Not
found
normally. He just doesn't watch it.
I just
Yeah,
I
I'm just
don't
saying.
connect
It's not
to
his
them.
Yeah.
first choice.
Yeah, and when I watched this one, I found it being like wow, like I love this. I connect to this because I feel like this is like a movie. I feel like it's not even made for kids.
No.
This is straight up just made for adults.
I have a hard time thinking kids would even understand.
No, and that's
like
what
the concepts
Yeah.
behind everything.
This is an adult movie, not like rated R. This is an adult movie to
This is
watch.
a movie that like
Adults would
can
understand.
comprehend and unpack.
Yeah, it's because I feel like a lot of adults have experienced a similar thing to what our main character is feeling,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I don't feel like kids would be like, oh yeah, I really do wish I had like a passion far down the line and I haven't been succeeding when they're like 12 years old, not even caring, you know?
What all they care about is, what toys are going to come out.
Yeah, so
With
it's
Soul and being like, oh look, a cat on the cover. There's an animal on the cover. I
Yeah.
gotta watch it.
or how many times am I gonna laugh during this?
Yeah, exactly.
And we're sitting here going,
I found myself
I don't
myself chuckling.
I
too,
really?
like with the whole Muhammad Ali. You're the greatest. Pain in my butt.
Yeah.
Like,
I
he was
laughed quite
laughing
a
at
bit.
okay,
I didn't cry though.
that's something we can
Yeah.
get into.
Yeah, we'll get into it for sure.
Yeah, this is the one movie where the first time I watched it, it stimulated me more intellectually.
Mhm.
Where I was sitting there and I was like, man, this is like such interesting concepts being brought up. Like I love the way that they showed this
Mhm.
and did all this and all of these like different thought processes and how that can affect your. I was like thinking about it all logically and really philosophically. I was like, wow. And then, but I didn't really connect to it emotionally.
So philosophically, then, do you think there's a great beyond?
Well, that's the thing too. Is like the
Just
great,
an interpretation of it.
Yeah, the great beyond is like, most people believe in an afterlife, and so they have to make it palatable for kids.
Yeah.
So they have
and
to.
I had put that. I said, "Great beyond equals heaven?" Question mark.
A big old white
it's-
ball of.
Yeah, it's
whatever.
it's something that's out
That's
there.
a bug zapper, if you ask me.
It sounded like that.
Yeah, I also
Made it
we'll
sound
get into
scary.
it. Yeah, it's ominous.
It is.
And I also just love like the art direction and how they chose to show it. Because
Yeah.
it felt
Oh,
like
that's so sick.
Yeah, I love it.
We'll get into it. But the second time, I really found myself emotionally engaged. The second time, I was really feeling a lot of what 22 was feeling. I really got
Mhm.
the whole like especially that end scene, dude. I
You're
was
not
like,
good enough.
oh, dude.
I missed it. I was too busy thinking about the concepts to really engage with the characters.
Yeah,
And I'm so glad I got to do that this time.
yeah.
Because I watched it the day it came out on Christmas.
Oh wow, okay.
And I enjoyed it so much because it was the time where Disney was kind of going in between like different kinds of models on how to release movies.
Mhm.
Because they would do some where you had to pay $30 extra to watch it early
With Mulan.
with Mulan, and they
Mulan.
did it with a few others. And then this one was just free.
Yeah.
Just free on Christmas Day. Turn it on with your whole family and it was
They
free
said
to watch.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I freaking loved it. I think that's a little bit part of the reason why it was successful is just because, people were able to easily, like, it was accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also think with the release being on Christmas, I feel like a lot of families go and watch movies
Yeah.
on Christmas.
Yeah, and that's a weird thing.
It's a weird
like,
thing,
but
but
like my family's done that before.
Yeah,
like
and
on
like-
Christmas, like after like everybody's had like we like open gifts and hang out and everything like that. People were kind of bored.
Yeah,
throughout
there's
the
like a
rest of the-
lull.
throughout the rest of the day, and they're kind of like,
Let's
let's go see a movie.
Yeah.
Let's go to the theater.
Especially because you wake up so freaking early.
Yeah.
You wake up at like 6 to do gifts and then
I've-
eat breakfast, and then you're just like, well,
All right, we got the rest of the day.
My
Especially
family never
as-
did that though.
especially as older guys, we're just like, I got a shirt that doesn't fit. Like, I gotta take it back.
I got a pack of socks.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, we're grateful, but there's
Yeah.
not much things that we could be like,
Yeah.
let's build stuff. Let's, use
Yeah.
this. It's just
Yeah.
like, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
So it was nice to just be like,
So I mean, maybe that's why they did it, because they were like, "Hey, let's release it on Christmas. A lot of people are gonna go watch." And it was the middle of the pandemic.
Yes.
No movie theaters were open,
that's true.
so maybe that's why they did it like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
possibly.
I don't know. Thankful for it though. It was awesome.
Yeah. Well, if you couldn't tell, the movie that we're talking about today is called
Soul. We're doing Soul. It released in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
It was directed by Pete Docter, which I think we've done a film by him before, right?
Yeah, it was Up.
It was up.
Up. Yeah, Pete Docter and Kemp Powers, I think, helped alongside him.
Yes.
And this is another Disney movie. Do you want me to go into a synopsis real quick?
Sure.
So this movie, we follow a man by the name of Joe Gardner, played by Jamie Foxx, which I thought was crazy.
Yeah.
Some
Some of the names just attached to the cast here are pretty wild. Like
Yeah.
Questlove.
It-
Questlove playing like just a random side character, Curly.
Yep.
And
the drummer
Who's-
dude.
Yeah.
Who's
What's his name?
Questlove?
He's a drummer. He's a musician.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he plays in the band for like Jimmy Fallon's Tonight Show, or whatever.
Yeah, he does.
But yeah, he's a big musician.
Yeah, we got Tina Fey and
Yep.
all that stuff. But we follow a man by the name of Joe Gardner. He's a middle school band teacher, and he is not happy about it. He has these high aspirations of his life to be a wonderful jazz musician and to be on stage and to completely fulfill his passion of playing the piano, playing jazz in front of all these people. And he's not doing that, so he's really disappointed. He's got a mom who isn't really too supportive of that. She wants him to have a stable job with, all the benefits and the steady income. And because of his dad, she understands that, sometimes pursuing music, you don't really get stability like she wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But dad is no longer in the picture. But we really just follow this guy. He goes through life kind of down in his luck, not understanding what he truly has and what passion and spark really means. And he goes, he falls into a hole.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil too much, but
Yeah.
something happens to him, and he, has to really start to deal with looking at his life as an outsider
Mm-hmm.
and to get a new perspective on his life and to see how he can affect the others around him and how they affect him as well.
Yeah.
And we get to see how there's like a conflicting idea of you really want to have passion in your life. That's what should drive you, but it shouldn't be an obsession, and it shouldn't cloud your ideas of what your life is.
Yeah.
Because you'll lose sight of what life truly is about.
Exactly. I mean, to kind of get into themes early, I had written down one of them here. I have another one, but I had put down follow your dreams, but don't tie your existence to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what happens to this man.
Yeah.
Joe Gardner. He is, he's almost self-absorbed.
Yeah.
It seems
Yeah.
like throughout the movie. And we get introduced to Tina Fey's character, and her name is 22.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets to be kind of like a surrogate mentor to her because she's has the perspective that she doesn't even want to be alive.
Yeah.
She doesn't even want to experience
There's nothing
Earth.
worth living.
Nothing at all. And he has this whole scheme of, if it's kind of hard to explain it without
Yeah.
getting into spoilers. So we'll just say it's about a man who is trying to find a passion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once he gets it, how is he going to
affects him?
Yeah, and how he's going to live his life after that.
Yeah. So if you haven't checked it out, go do so. It's streaming on Disney Plus. This will be a spoiler-heavy episode as per usual. So if you want to avoid spoilers, or if you haven't checked this movie out, we recommend you do so. Pause it here if you care about spoilers and all that stuff. If you don't, continue listening. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it.
Yeah.
Wanna
Favorite
start us
scene?
off with the first favorite scene.
I will, yeah. So my favorite scene is when it's close to the introduction. We get introduced to instead of the actual music that normally plays with Disney, it's the
I love it.
I liked it. I
I
liked
think
it.
it seems authentic.
It seems authentic, and
Yes.
it's like perfect for the movie.
Yeah. I enjoyed it too. It just when you get brought in, you expect that like elegant, it's Disney, right?
Yeah.
You expect
Yeah.
something that's gonna like sweep you off your feet,
Mm-mm.
and then you get this freaking loud crash of gongs and out of key instruments
Yep.
and people who don't know how to play real well.
Yeah.
Honestly, that sounds like me when I was in band.
Yeah, and you get transported into this, band room where it's all these people who are like scrolling on their phone, not really caring, or people who don't really know how to play,
Yep.
and it's middle school.
Yeah,
you know?
it's seriously middle school band. All the things that you think that come with that is what is being portrayed here. But the scene that I really like is when they're all doing he finally starts getting them going, and it all sounds really crappy, and it starts to die out. But then there's this one student who's got the trombone.
Connie.
Yes, Connie.
It's so
I
love
love
it,
it.
dude.
I
I
love
love
it.
it. She stands up
She starts getting into
and
it.
she gets into the zone, man.
She gets into
she's
it.
going down. Like she's really passionate. Her love for this instrument, or it's for music in general, is showing so heavy. And she gets through it, ends it, and all the students are like, like
Yeah, they start laughing at her.
they start laughing at her that she was into it. And he goes, oh, why are you guys laughing? And then he kind of explains his little bit of background where
Yeah.
his dad brings him to a jazz spot, and he gets to see that piano guy for the first time, and he he wants to be able to communicate like that, like that one guy he saw, and he sits down on the piano, and
He
it's
tells us.
He starts tickling those ivories.
and even if you disregard all of the story beats that are going on right now, just the beautiful animations,
Yeah.
him like it's all animated perfectly. What key he's playing, you hear it with the fingers.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I wanted to ask you guys if you thought that this was like in regards to how Disney films look, which one do you think is the most beautiful?
I don't know. I really
Beautiful.
I really enjoyed this one because it felt real. Like it almost felt like I was watching like an actually acted movie. It wasn't animated.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, whenever it went to like the sequences where like he's in the zone and it looks like, like the northern lights are like surrounding him and he's just playing and closing his eyes and like floating almost. Like you can tell that like they had to, animate some certain aspects of it for that. But I have to say, like, I really enjoyed like the entire look of this film and the way that they like portray New York and how beautiful the city can be, whenever you look at it through the right lens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like even the way they use like sunset and like lighting in certain aspects and color and all that. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I just wanted to bring that up because that
That's
scene where
such a hard question.
he sits down and plays it, is beautiful.
Yes.
And I could think of several scenes in this movie. There's only one other movie I could think of that is on par, and it's Good Dinosaur.
Tell me why I was about to say that.
I mean, as far as story goes, not even taking that into
It's
account,
beautiful.
but like the landscapes, dude, it's like photorealistic. It's insane how good it looks.
Okay.
But I don't know. I wanted to see because this is really up there with the animation style and just the style of it all is
Luca's
beautiful.
good. Luca's pretty good too.
Yeah. It's got good water physics, but it's not like I'm looking for that realism, that like world that feels alive.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's maybe the word that I'm looking for. That this entire world that gets built up in this animated version of New York feels so real and so alive.
Well,
Like, and I think that's what I really enjoyed about it.
when we think of New York, I don't think any of us have been in New York, but we've seen how crazy New York is, and then we see the way they portray it in this movie. It almost feels like it is. Well, it is New York,
Yeah.
and so I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I also have to say, because this is one of my favorite scenes too, just this whole intro to the film.
Beautiful.
I love whenever he goes to the jam session. Whenever he meets up with Dorothea Williams.
Oh, his
Oh,
first
I
like
would-
interview
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Oh,
and
dude.
they start jamming.
You
This is
link-
like a
you
whiplashy
link
a
it?
little bit.
Yeah.
You link both of them?
Yeah.
Okay, because I separate them because that one's my next one.
Okay.
It's whiplashy a little bit where he just sits down and they just play.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What the do I do?"
Yeah, he's like, I gotta kind of listen for what keys they might be in.
Yeah.
And I like that he starts to catch on and starts playing, the corresponding chords and, finally tagging along and getting in the groove a bit, and then just steals the show. And like again, he gets lost in the zone and starts, just going insane and really just feeling it. And I love that everyone kind of stops and just kind of stares at him, and they're like, "We go on at 9. You better bring a suit.
Yeah,
like
what
be
she
here by 7."
She
or
says,
something like that.
"Joe Gardner, where have you been?"
Yeah.
Like you basically made it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Dude, first off, the other scene I was thinking of that's freaking beautiful when we get introduced to her, and we walk in.
Oh
and
yeah,
she's
she's
playing
like
the
she's
sax.
almost
playing
like she's almost
saxophone?
like mystic.
Yeah,
like,
because she's got like a big highlight going down her face. Dude.
yeah, and the sax looks beautiful.
Oh, the lighting, it's
And
so
the etching
nice.
on the saxophone looks so real,
Yeah.
and it's
There's something about the fingers
Yeah.
accurately like showing
Hitting
what
every
she's
note.
playing. It seems like a non detail,
Yeah.
but when you look at it, you're like, it's
Well,
like a
and
real thing.
And there's a lot of things too, like when movies try to portray, live music being played. A lot of the times it's like, like those like music videos where
It's just like
it's like obviously the song is like overlaid. And they
Yeah.
just filmed it a ton of times and cut together a video. So
Yeah.
like sometimes like certain hits on like let's say like a cymbal and a snare don't match with what the song is playing.
Yeah.
Whereas with this film, it feels like every note like it corresponds to like the correct hit on
Yeah.
the instrument, whether that be with the piano, the saxophone, even the drums. Like I had noticed whenever Curly is like going crazy on some of the drums, and like I think there was a couple of times where like he like goes like snare cymbal, and it does it like perfectly every time, and I was surprised by that. Like I not to bring down La Bamba, but like
No. But La Bamba is
in
like that.
La Bamba they do that, especially the scene where they're singing "All My Love."
Oh, in
my
the bar.
kissing.
In the bar.
And like there's
Oh,
parts
he's
where
going-
like
he goes,
he's
"No more."
Yeah, and he's going, and like you see Bobby just going ding 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 ding, just hitting it, but the drum beat's all boom 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 boom
Yeah.
boom boom, and he's just going.
No,
just
yeah, and that's
hitting random
true.
stuff. you
It
know?
makes a difference.
Yeah.
So that's the one scene I wanted to bring up. That just beautiful highlight of
Yeah.
her playing the sax.
Yeah. I also love, seeing him get the gig. He walks out, he's just excited. And he's like, I got it. I
Yeah.
got the gig. And starts, going crazy. And that's when we immediately start to know that there's something that's going to be wrong here.
Do you think it's
'Cause
funny?
this guy's like brushing near death.
Yeah, like 5 times.
Like he's walking by and these bricks just all spill out over him. He could have died. He almost gets hit by all these cars.
Yep.
And then eventually he, falls into that manhole.
Yeah.
And
freaking dies.
freaking dies.
Freaking dies.
dies.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, this movie is going there.
This is not
He's literally dead.
Yeah, and I don't know how many Pixar movies actually like have a main character die, in the film, and then show like what.
It's always
No,
like,
it's
oh, the
supposed to-
parents have died a long time ago, or it's
Yeah.
like it died off screen somewhere. This is like,
Well, does he technically die? Because whenever he gets back in his body, his body's still going. I'm thinking maybe he just has like an out of
Maybe a
body
coma?
experience or something. or
no,
a coma,
he definitely would. If it weren't for him like jumping off and going to the great before, he would have been dead.
That's true. That is true.
That's the
Maybe
think
it's like one of those things, where like.
Have
people-
you seen Grey's
people-
Anatomy?
Well, like you just said, people are in a coma.
yeah,
Like where it's like the don't walk into the light type thing, where like you can
like they're just holding on.
Yeah, they're holding.
They're just
on.
running on that
Yeah, and
elevator
it-
thing, just going.
exactly.
No, I'm not ready.
Exactly.
That might be it. But I imagine him die like dead.
Okay.
I thought he died. I would say he died.
Okay.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But that actually is my next scene is the great before. I think it's beautiful. One.
Seeing the
And-
great before or the great
yeah.
beyond?
Is it the great?
There's
Great
two.
Beyond?
The Great Beyond is insane.
It's ominous.
It is.
And I love how like
Oh no, the great before is where all the pre-souls are, right?
Yeah, they're like-
that's
yeah.
what I
great
like.
the great beyond is everyone that's going into the
Yeah,
light.
not that. I like the
I
great
have to say
before.
I love the great beyond.
It looks so sick.
It
When
looks-
it zooms out and
yeah,
you
and
see
you
the
just see the scale of everything.
yeah, and you see all these little pixels of
Yeah.
white.
It almost looks like it reminded me of like a painting
Mm-hmm.
or like
someone,
a drawing.
flecking-
Yeah, like a drawing like that somebody did, and then they animated something to like go into this drawing.
Yeah.
And of course, you also have this like awesome score by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross
Oh, incredible.
going in, and it's just like all these like synth bass and like droning noises. So everything that's going on, you're just hearing, wah, like it sounds sick. I loved it.
It's just a great portrayal of what you think it would be. I mean,
Yeah.
it could be anything.
Exactly.
But like this, for some reason, I feel like just nails it.
yeah,
Because you're just on an elevator going to a massive orb of light.
yeah,
And when you get there, it just goes zzz,
yeah.
like a little fly
That's
on
literally like a bug zapper.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if everyone hears that or if it's just him because he's scared or
Yeah.
I don't know. But I thought it was ominous as heck.
Yeah.
And then he freaking jumps off,
He was savage for that.
and that's where it leads into your thing.
To the great
Yes.
before, which I thought it was so cool the way they are showing like life before life.
Right. It's where where your soul is, and that's where you gain all of your personality.
Yeah, and I think
and-
that's
little
so
quirks and all
unique
yeah,
because he gets there and he's like, okay, like I gotta find my way back to my body, and then you just get introduced to these little, what do they call them? I forgot what they call them already.
I think they just call them souls.
Yeah,
Little souls, and they're just
blue
messing with
blobs.
him. They're just messing with him, and I was like, this is my first time ever watching this movie, and I was like, what the heck is this? Like, I thought it was dead. Like, is he just in a new world now? And then Jerry shows up.
I love it.
And Jerry was like, "Oh, are you a mentor?" And he was like, yeah." Like goes along with it, and then he's like, "Okay, let me take you to this and this." And Jerry, I just love Jerry because
Which one?
the first,
That's the thing.
the first Jerry, the very first Jerry, because
yeah.
what he says, or she, I don't know.
It's kind of
It's
like
a
ambiguous.
person.
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
like
a thing.
Yeah,
they're
so-
all
they're-
just things.
They also say like, what are you? And they're like, I'm
Then that's
intuitive
what I was
some-
gonna say.
Yeah.
all of space time and
yeah.
in
They're
a
like,
form
but
that
I
you can comprehend or something like that.
exactly.
Yeah, and that's what I like
And
because they were like,
expanded. It's like It's
Yeah.
like, have you seen those pictures of angels, like true angels?
Yeah.
And it's just like, you just hear that insane like, yeah. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
But he goes to say, I'm big enough where everybody can comprehend, but small enough where a kid or a baby soul can comprehend.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is so smart.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you explain a soul to Alex? How would you explain a soul to him? Like, you can't.
You'd have to wait a little longer.
Exactly.
Until
But
you can-
Jerry makes it perfect, and that's what I really liked. And it was just super cool to watch.
Yeah.
That, and I think that's what made me love this movie, or love it even more from that point on. I was like, okay, this is gonna be a good movie. 'Cause usually, I feel like, no offense to Pixar, but they're not that smart with things like that.
Or they follow a formula.
Yes.
Like where you know, it's like, okay, this has to happen, there has to be a redemption arc, like all this stuff.
Yes. And I don't know, it's just beautiful.
Yeah. How'd you guys feel about them being 2D when everything up to this point is 3D?
I enjoyed it.
I thought it was awesome.
I liked the way that, like,
like
especially
the way
when
that they
Terry.
like bend their hand and you get to see. It's such a weird concept.
But I also like whenever Terry, you know, goes into the real world and he like blends in with like all the lines
Yeah.
and stuff and everything. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah. My next favorite scene is not until we get back on Earth,
Yeah, that's my next favorite scene.
and it's the barbershop scene.
That's my next favorite scene as well.
Oh, okay.
And I really enjoyed the barbershop scene because I forgot to, because I was watching the movie and I was really enthralled with it. I just wrote it down, and then I put "They line my boy up," but
He gets lined up.
That's true.
but I really just enjoyed this because at this point in the movie, 22 and Joe find a way to get back onto Earth through the astral plane, and
Go through that thin spot.
yeah.
Jump
Exactly.
into his body.
And Joe gets a little too excited and jumps in with 22, and they get body swapped.
Mhm.
So it's almost like Freaky Friday,
I was about to.
right?
I was about to say.
Yeah. So like now Joe is in this cat, and 22 is in Joe, and she doesn't want to know what it's like to be alive. And Joe wants to be back in his body so that way he can go perform at this gig that he's supposed to perform at tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So it's at this point, like, they are, you know, walking around New York. They don't really know what to do. And Joe starts, you know, showing things to 22 that, you know, people who are alive do, like eating pizza or, you know, experiencing, you know, certain things for the first time, going on a subway, you know, talking to people, walking, and all this stuff, like things that we take for granted normally. And 22 over time starts to find out that, you know, hey, I'm pretty good at this walking thing, and I kind of like doing this stuff. And, you know, beforehand I didn't really, you know, I didn't ever want to do any of this stuff, and now I'm kind of liking it. And you know, I talked to this girl Connie, and I saw that, like, she was amazing at this instrument. Like, it's great. But before that, they go to this barbershop because homie's trying to, you know, cut it.
The cat's trying to line him up.
Yeah, the cat's trying to line Joe up, and he you know, accidentally cuts his hair off. So he's like, okay, we got to go to the barbershop now. What you're gonna do is you're just gonna sit in the chair and you're not gonna talk. Like, don't do anything. So they go to the barbershop, and Joe sees his barber named Dez. And this guy is like, oh, yeah, you know, he's great. Me and Des just talk about jazz all the time. It's awesome. I love our relationship. And that's whenever 22 starts to realize, like, well, hey, like, we always talk about, you know, jazz and stuff, but, like, I want to know about you. Like, what, you know, I want to know how you think and who you are as a person. And Des takes that opportunity to be like, okay, like, let's talk. And I don't know if you want to chime in a little bit.
No, it's just you're hitting it perfectly, and I liked it because that's how I wish my barber was.
Oh,
no
okay.
shade to my barber. I don't know if he listens, because my barber just goes and just cuts my hair.
Yeah.
And there's a guy.
You want a relationship.
I want a
That's what you
relationship because, I mean, they're all up in my grill, dude.
Yeah.
They're right there in my personal space.
Yeah.
And there's this guy. I'm just gonna hit on it a little bit. There's a guy on TikTok that I watch, and he cuts hair for free and just for the conversation.
I know who you're talking about. It's so wholesome.
And I love it. And then seeing this, I was like, gosh, dude, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, you get to hear this guy's life story in the matter of 30 minutes to an hour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing that's cool too is that 22 is hearing this stuff for the first time.
Yeah,
and she's recognizing that like, oh, this guy, you know, he had a plan for his life, but sometimes it doesn't always pan out the way that you think it will.
Yeah.
He originally wanted to be a veterinarian. Even Joe never knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I didn't always want to be a barber. You know, I wanted to be a veterinarian. I loved
things
animals,
happen.
but you know, things happened. My daughter got sick, and barber school's a lot cheaper than veterinary school. So I started doing cutting hair, and guess what? Now I've fallen in love with it. It's something that I love to do.
He
I
says
love to
he
make
gets
people
save people's lives.
Yeah, he's like, I'm saving people's lives over here. I make them feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
And you know, I get to walk. You know, I get to watch people become new again almost.
Yeah.
And you know, that's given me a greater sense of purpose than I think veterinary school may have.
Yeah.
You know, ever.
Mm-hmm.
And 22 gets to hear this for the first time, and also Joe. And I love whenever they leave the barber shop. Joe, you know, as 22 starts to walk out, and he says, Des says, you know, like, hey, it was really great to talk to you. Like, I love talking to you with you know, about other things other than just jazz.
Mm-hmm.
And 22 says, you know, yeah, I don't know why we haven't talked about this stuff, you know, beforehand. And Des says, well, you just never asked me.
That kind of hurt me.
Yeah,
That's why I say he's self-absorbed a little bit.
yeah, and that's the thing where I was kind of like, man, that kind of hurts a little bit. And you see Joe as the cat kind of be like, oh man, like I
suck.
Yeah, I never even, you know, thought to ask about this guy or like let him even know that I care.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, a great scene.
Could have been its own movie right there, just that little part.
Yeah, that little part.
Yeah, you
It's
mentioned
also
it.
it's also funny too. Like Pixar is able to nail like barbershop like banter.
Dude,
Where,
I was
like-
gonna bring it up because there's a lot of comedy here.
Yeah.
it's so funny.
Where like everybody walks in, they're like, if you don't get your, you know, big forehead looking like, and then they're like, you know, they're able to like
it kind of reminds me
incorporate all this
of
stuff.
yeah,
Gran Torino.
Okay. Yeah, a little
That
bit.
banter.
where they're kind of like rubbing each other. or,
Yeah.
Roasting each other. a
Yeah.
little
Yeah,
bit,
I
you
feel
know?
like a lot of barbershops that I've been to are like that.
Okay, yeah.
You just are jovial. But there's the funny part I'm talking about is when he walks in and he's like, hey, I got to do this quick. And he goes, no, you got to wait your turn, dude. I'm sorry. There's a guy in front of you. And he takes his hat off. And he goes, yo, what the happened? Get on this chair right now. You got to wait. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was dying at that. And then there's also a time, too, where it's 22 in the body. So she starts getting all philosophical, saying, like, you know, I don't even know what life is all about. And, you know, what happens when we all this, like, crazy and everyone is engaged in listening.
Yeah.
And before that, she asked for a lollipop. And she's licking on the lollipop, sucking on the lollipop, and everyone's looking. And then he goes, they like
I
look
need
at the
one of
lollipop.
those.
She's like, I need one of those to be like more engaged with life.
Yeah.
And it's just funny scenes like that too. I really, really enjoyed.
Yeah, me too.
So there's even that scene too where the guy who was giving Joe a hard time,
Yeah, Paul.
saying that he's not gonna make it,
Yeah.
leaves, and he accidentally gets abducted by Terry.
Yeah.
And he goes, afterwards he's like shivering in the
Dude,
corner.
he had I put that as a bro moment. That's a near death experience.
The out of body experience. for
Yeah,
sure.
like
Yeah.
he's just
Yeah.
shook
the
up,
corner.
dude.
Yeah, I thought it was funny too where he's like 22 whenever he's leaving, she's like, "Oh, he's just giving me crap because his life isn't going the way that he planned it, and so he has to put others down to make himself feel good." And everyone is all, "Oh."
Yeah, and
Hey, cut, dude,
That
and
cut
as he
deep,
walks in,
yeah.
he goes, "Man, that cut you cut deep, Joe."
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of thing that I feel like would just fly over kids' head. Because
Yeah.
it's like, how are they going to know? That's like insanely complicated.
Yeah.
That's a complicated like structure of just talking with people
Exactly.
and experience with people.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be interesting to see like a kid being like, I understood. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It'd be weird.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
You guys
But
got any more favorite scenes?
I have one last favorite scene. I don't know if you have anything before, but it's when Joe finally tells his mom how he feels.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's put the suit fixing scene.
Yeah, the suit fixing scene is awesome.
It's so cool.
This was the one. It started to make me tear up.
This is one that
It
I
did, 'cause
did
she
feel
pulled-
Yeah.
emotion.
You didn't?
I did.
Oh,
I did
okay.
felt. I was like, oh, I almost teared up, but I was like,
Yeah.
So what happens here?
so basically,
Freaking busts his butt out of those.
so 22's in still Joe's body, and he puts on this nice suit like the lady said. I forgot her name, and for the gig, and 22 accidentally drops something and goes to pick it up, and before that we get told that this suit's kind of, she says the suit's
Tight.
kind of tight around my butt. And he goes, oh, it'll stretch out. You'll be okay.
He's got that donk.
He's got a wagon.
He's got a wagon, dude. And so she drops something and then picks it up, and she goes, you are right, Joe. It's loosening up. And then we get shown that she rips
Yeah.
the pants right in the middle. I had to laugh because wearing like red heart underwear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny. And he goes, oh no, like I'm not gonna be able to get my suit fixed this late. There's no tailor, there's no seamstress. The only one that he knows is his mom, and he doesn't want to go to his mom because he has to
He
say,
doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't want her to know that he's got a gig.
yeah, and she doesn't believe in his. No, I don't know if she doesn't believe. She doesn't think it's a career.
Yeah.
She doesn't
want
think
him.
he'll make money.
She doesn't want him following a pipe dream.
Yes.
Dreams won't feed you, or would she say?
Yeah,
Yeah,
James
dreams don't pay the bills.
Dreams don't pay the bills. Yeah.
And so basically he goes, but when we get there, she already found out. So she's just off in the room.
All the little aunties.
Yeah.
No kiss.
That's a bro moment.
She's all, that's where I laughed too. He's like, oh, I always give her a kiss when I walk in. You got to give her a kiss. She straight up plants one on him on the lips. She's all, oh.
And then the lady goes, oh, you cougar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, a kid's not going to understand what a cougar is.
It's more adult theme.
Yeah.
And so finally he walks into the room where his mom is, and I don't know who the first words they say, and they're switching, and they're just going back and forth, and finally, 22 comes in the action. I think it's her, then not Joe.
Well,
Because-
she said 22 says something at 1st
Mm-hmm.
where she's like, what did you just say to me? And Joe is, as the cat, is kind of like, oh, dude.
Just
Okay.
now we gotta tell.
Now we have to tell her. Like, I didn't want to have to have this conversation at
Yeah.
first. But now, like, you just need to repeat after me and say what I say.
Mhm.
And I love that this transition that they do,
It
where
goes-
it shows Joe like talking, and then it passes the mom, and then we just hear Joe's voice.
And the cat's just sitting there.
Yeah, and it's at this moment where we kind of see Joe stand up for himself
Yeah.
finally, and he's kind of like, listen, this is what I was born to do. This is what I feel like my purpose is. When I do this, I feel, the most alive.
Yeah.
And, regardless of what you may think or something like that, this is something that I love to do.
Mhm.
And, it hurts whenever you don't support me. And I, regardless, I'm going to find a way to make money or something like that. But anytime I'm going to be able to play or, feel that sense of me fulfilling my purpose, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I got to do it. And it was incredibly wholesome. And it was also incredibly wholesome to see, like, the mom kind of, like, finally realize, but also, like, it was almost like she was like, okay, finally, like, you stood your ground, and at least, like, gave me some pushback to where I could be like, okay, like, I think I could tell you really like this.
Mhm.
A little backstory as well is I think she doesn't want him to do that because that's what his father did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He was a musician, and I think she
struggled.
She said, "Yeah." Well,
She was like,
literally
this
told
shop
him.
is what kept us afloat.
Yeah.
While
Like-
your dad chased a dream that never really got fulfilled.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I could see both sides, but it was just so nice to finally see him stand up for himself.
Yeah.
And I liked it because it's just, you don't hear a lot about that. I mean, you don't want to, no disrespect to your parents. Like, you don't want to do that to your parents. Like, they always want the best for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it brought me a lot of emotion because the mom was like, okay, like, I get you and I love you and I'm going to support you. Like, just that support. He finally was like, thank you. Like, I was like, that's why I liked it a lot.
And then I also love pulling out the suit.
Yeah, that's when I really start to feel something.
Yeah.
Because she's not even like, oh, we're not gonna fix that suit. We got something a lot better.
Dude,
Yeah.
And it's his dad's suit.
It's-
You know how, like,
dude, he was looking fresh.
he was looking so great. And I don't know.
That's something it's sentimental.
It is.
And, like, I know my dad has that with his dad. He has a couple of his, like, old blazers
Mhm.
that he makes sure to wear, and, like, made sure that they got tailored to him, so that way he can continue, like, wearing it and being like, this was my dad's and now it's mine, and someday I'm going to pass it on to you.
Yeah.
And then you'll tailor it to you, and someday you'll pass it on to your kids.
Mhm.
And it's something that's wholly sentimental, and especially for Joe, who he lost his father.
Mhm.
Now he's able to, like, put this on and almost, like, do something that he knows would make his dad proud,
Mhm.
and also feel like he's making him proud by being able to wear his suit.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
beautiful.
That scene.
Yeah, my last favorite scene is the Epiphany scene.
Yeah, mine as well.
And this is where I cried. So I think at this point Joe has the show. He kills it. People are there that love him and support him. They love him for what he's done, for what he did at the show. He killed it. And he starts to pack everything up, and he's waiting for a cab with Dorothea outside of the club. I think the club's called the Half Note.
Yep.
Yes.
Right. So they're waiting outside the Half Note, waiting for a cab to pick him up. And Dorothea kind of, is standing around waiting and telling Joe how great he did and all this stuff. And Joe comes across this like feeling where he's like, man, I wanted this so bad for all of my life, and I still feel this like strange feeling
he
of
says,
like
I thought I'd feel different.
yeah, like you can tell that he doesn't feel right. He feels like empty maybe still a little bit, and he's like, I thought I would feel different. I wanted this thing so bad, and now I got it, and I feel weird still. Like, what is this? I don't understand.
It didn't fill whatever void he had.
Exactly. And Dorothea, she comes in with this.
Freaking kills it, dude.
Yeah,
She's so
comes
wise.
She comes in with this knowledge, and she's like, have you ever heard about the story of the fish in the ocean? And he's like, no. And she says, I actually have it written down in one of my best quotes.
Yeah.
And she says, well, I'll start off. So Dorothea says, what's wrong, Teach? Joe says, it's just I've been waiting for this day my whole entire life. I thought I'd feel different. Dorothea says, I heard this story about a fish. He swims up to this older fish and says, I'm trying to find this thing they call the ocean. The ocean, says the older fish, that's what you're in right now. This, says the younger fish, this is water. What I want is the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Joe kind of stands there a little stunned, and she's like, I'll talk to you later. And, gets in the cab and goes away. And as an adult, I'm sitting there and I'm listening to that, and I'm like, that is so profound. Like I'm really blown away by that a Pixar movie is able to have this conversation and be like, listen, what you're wanting is what you're doing right now. You got to take a step back and realize, everything that you've done up until this point, and recognize that, what you were wanting isn't different. It's always been the same thing. You're here, you're living life, you're doing your thing. You just got to, take a different perspective sometimes.
Yep.
And recognize that, two things, they might not be the same, or they might possibly be the same thing. You just need to take a step back and look at it. And I loved it. And then it goes into him going into his apartment, which you could take it from here if you want.
So when 22 is in his body, she collects small things that are memorable to her, whether it be a lollipop or a piece of a bagel or the pizza slice or that little twirl of a
a flower petal.
Yeah,
the flower petal.
Which flower petal that falls into her hand. It feels so intimate and so like I don't even know how to like describe it.
Yeah, I also want to say about the bagel. It
love
was so precious because it was like, to
she
somebody
doesn't
she doesn't understand the value of it, but to her she's like, this is something precious to me, and I'm gonna give it to you because I want to show you how much I appreciate you.
Yeah.
And meanwhile this guy's asking for money, and she just breaks off a piece of a bagel and gives it to him, and the guy's kind of like,
but to
her she's like,
it's got the same value.
This is like the same value. I'm giving you something.
Yeah.
That means a lot to me. And it's so precious.
Yeah, but he's it's in his pocket when he's in his own body, and he starts to understand like the kind of the horrible stuff he was telling her.
Yeah,
where he was saying like, you don't have passion. The only reason you have passion and you got your stamp is because you were in my body experiencing the things that I like.
Yeah,
you can't. This isn't anything about you. And when we get left, she looks like down in the dumps, sad.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of realizing the error of his ways. And after that story, I think he's kind of understanding that, like, yeah, I really have been kind of blind on my life because I've been neglecting he calls it boring old living.
Yeah.
But that's like a part of the goal that's a part of the passion. And he chooses to neglect it. But that's really the part that he should be enjoying. And he saw that 22 was doing that. And he puts all that stuff out. And he starts to just, I don't even know. He starts to play this beautiful piano.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. and he starts to get into the zone again because he's gonna go and give his life for 22 to have a chance. And this is the moment I cried, because as he's playing the piano and going into the zone, he's getting these flash images of his life. And we saw them before, of them being like insanely kind of sad and depressing, where he's sitting there at the bar alone, or he's getting told no all the time. But these are different. These are like him at the beach with his dad, or
Good
him.
memories.
Yeah, they're good memories about all the stuff that he's had in his life that I bet you he's just overlooked, that he wasn't present for. And now he's finally getting to experience them again in a whole different perspective.
Yeah, this is where I cried.
And I was just, it felt good. It felt good.
It felt good to see like a whole life lived on screen, and with the way that the writing is in this movie, I feel like the weight, I can feel, all this weight being, lifted off of Joe's shoulders, and you even see him cry, and that was like, cherry on top, right? Because anytime I see anybody cry on screen, I'm like, and I start crying too, because I see someone else doing it. And the real kicker though was whenever I saw like, they're going through the flashbacks, and it shows him as a kid, and his dad has shown him music for the first time, and then he's riding a bike, and see the fireworks, and then he's playing piano with his dad, and his dad's much older this time, but that dad still got a smile on his face and is proud of his kid. And then all of a sudden, you see his feet in the ocean, and it's like things that we take for granted as, as normal people every day. We take for granted some of the slightest things, but those are the moments that make up what the majority of our life is. And I don't know, it just hit me, and I started tearing up. And then after the scene had ended, I think Alexa was kind of like, she was watching it, and she kind of looked over at me, and I had like a tear coming down, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was all, "Yeah, I don't know why this movie's making me cry, man." And I like wiped my tears real quick, and I was like, "Man, that was really good.
It's beautiful."
Like, I really enjoyed that.
Well, it's the climax of his character arc too. So it's just like you finally get to see him understand what the whole movie had been about.
Yes.
And now you get to see kind of his sacrifice
Yeah.
for 22.
Yeah, and that was
Who deserves it?
Yeah, and this was the moment where I really enjoyed this movie, because I don't know about you guys, but I genuinely felt like it was leading you to believe that Joe was going to give his life so that 22 could experience life.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah,
And so I was like, wow, that's going to be like, that's insanely sad that like he is, willing to sacrifice his life so that 22 can have a shot at it. And I genuinely thought that he was going to like, pass on and die.
Go to the great beyond.
Yeah, and go to the great beyond and let 22 have a chance at life. And I was watching this, and I was like, man, like Pixar, they usually always like have a shot of redemption for the character or something, but I genuinely thought like this is gonna be kind of morbid. Like
I thought
like he's actually gonna die, and 22 is gonna be able to have a shot at life.
But the way they show how she gets a shot, and when they go, he goes and tells her like, "I'll go with you," because she said she's scared, and he was like, "I can only go so far, but I will go with you."
Yeah.
And at
I'm
that
getting
part,
goosebumps. Just
it's so wholesome,
Yeah,
because it's like
that,
you said.
That's the thing too, is life is scary.
Yeah, life is scary.
And when you get a shot at it for the first time, and you get somebody who cares about you and is like, regardless of what's going to happen,
yeah.
I'm going to be with you every step of the way as much as I can be.
Yeah.
And she, on the one hand is thinking, this guy's giving his life for me. Like it's going to be an exchange, a wash.
But she also has to, but she's going to get her new life that she got to experience a little bit. And it's just going to be amazing. Like, she's finally get to experience that.
Yeah.
That part was like, oh, come on. Like, it was sad.
Yeah.
No, the powerful part for me was when she turns into that one of those lost souls. And she's like this weird tentacle being thing.
Yeah.
And he goes on, chases her throughout all of her room, all through that box, and then back to the...
What is she saying?
She's like reciting like, I'm not good enough, I don't belong.
Yeah.
Yes, because a lot of the lost souls are also saying things.
They're saying things that like they're
Trade
Things
me,
that they're
trade
obsessed
me.
with.
yeah.
Like the one guy saying, make a trade.
I love that.
No, it's kind of scary.
It's scary. It is.
Megatroid. But then, like, there's other people who are like, it's their obsession.
Where
right?
that guy was doing the metal detector stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've, turned their passion into something that they're obsessed with, and they get lost in it. And they, eventually become those lost souls.
They're not dead, but they're lost.
She ends up swallowing him, and he's like inside of her psyche or whatever.
Yeah.
And the most powerful thing is you get to see all of her past mentors like berating her, saying that she's, oh, you're too dumb to understand. You'll never make it out there, and all that stuff. And then the biggest one in her life was
her.
No,
Or was Joe.
Was Joe, and he's this massive. And it's funny how like it spews out of his mouth, like all of the stuff that he's been spewing onto her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just really powerful. And it gave me the goosebumps is when he just like, he doesn't even say anything. He just holds out the feather or holds out that little pedal thing, and it all disappears.
Yeah.
And she finally understands, like, you didn't, like, it was you. This is all you. It wasn't because you're in my body and all that stuff. When I saw that, I was like, this is awesome. This is so cool.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
And then it goes to show that he's going to the great beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where I was genuinely like, man, they're really about to like
let him die.
We're about to like let him die. Like this is gonna end on a kind of morbid note.
And then they go,
yeah. And then I was laughing too because they do the thing on Terry where they're like, you're like, whoa, the count's gonna be off.
Look at that over there.
He's all, whoa, look at that over there. Yeah. And he's like, oh, it must have been nothing. I'm sorry. Carry on with what you're doing.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we're going to give you a second chance at life. Are you going to take it? And this is where the movie ends, and it cuts back to Joe, and he's walking out of the door, and he says, like, I think I am. And she says, well, what are you going to do different? And he says, I'm going to live every minute of it. Mm-hmm. And it ends.
And then it ends.
Yeah. And it's giving me goosebumps even saying that. And cool. I that was a part too, like at the ending where I was just like, I got teary-eyed again, and I was just like, man, I need to live life.
It's a call to action, honestly.
I need to go out. I need to experience things, and
you need to be present.
Yeah, I need to, exactly. I need to be present and in the moment and recognize that like this is happening. I need to soak up every minute of it and not be on my phone and scrolling around.
Yeah.
Like I loved it.
No more Minecraft for me.
Yeah.
It's a great end to a movie, man.
Yeah.
So
most definitely. Well, I'm assuming that's the end of our favorite scenes.
It sure is.
Yes.
So we got any best quotes?
Yeah, I have one from a character named Moonwind, who is...
He's like a sign.
He's like a shaman character,
I don't know what
right?
He is.
Like he's
kind of
he's
like
a hippie.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's kind of like a hippie.
Yeah.
He's just going along life. He's in the territory of the lost souls.
Yeah.
And
he's my man too because he's bumping Bob Dylan. Going around the astral plane.
Yeah.
And he's just chilling the boat. And one of the things he says, he goes, lost souls are not that different from those that are in the zone. The zone is enjoyable, but when the joy becomes an obsession, one becomes disconnected from life.
I love it. I love that.
And I thought about it. I was like, that's so true.
Yeah.
Because, again, like you can be obsessed with something and love every minute of it, or be obsessed with something and be like, this is my
well,
life.
like I think of like we brought up Whiplash.
Yeah.
I even think about the movie Whiplash and like, the main character's talent and his passion being drums, but when it comes to the point of obsession, he starts to tear himself apart because of it, and like we see how low he gets because of that obsession, like in the lengths that he was going to try to just strive for perfection, from Fletcher, and then at the end of it feeling so rewarding because he's like, no, I'm going to do this for me, and I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do this to spite you and to show you that I am good, and I'm not going to let you label me and put and I'm not going to accept the label that you put on me, and I think it's the same thing, it's extremely powerful.
My one of my best quotes is, so a big building falls on the little baby souls in the great before, and he goes, oh, what the heck? And she goes, oh, it's okay. You can't crush your soul here. That's what Earth is for.
Yeah.
It's savage.
It's savage.
It is funny.
Yeah.
My other one that I have written down, this is my last one, is from Jerry, and it's a conversation between Jerry and Joe, and it's the ending of the movie where Jerry says, so what do you think you'll do? How are you going to spend your life? Joe says, I'm not sure, but I do know I'm going to live every minute of it.
Yeah.
same on Joe. I have my last one. It's from Joe. He is talking to 22, and he goes, "Life is full of possibilities. You just need to know where to look. Don't miss out on the joys of life."
Yeah. I have my last one of him saying, "Get ready, Joe Gardner. Your life is about to start." And that's kind of like highlighting just the negative aspect of him
Mm-hmm.
and how it's not like your life has started, dude.
Yeah.
You're already in the ocean. Like
yeah.
you're already there.
Yeah.
So why are you saying like, oh, your life is about to start? You've already experienced great things and you just completely looked at it.
You're just choosing to ignore it.
Yeah. That's why I love your quote when he says, "I'm going to live every minute of it."
Yeah.
And as opposed to him saying, "Oh, it's gonna start. It's about to."
Yeah.
He's like, "No, it started and I'm going to live it."
Yeah.
Which I just loved all
Yeah.
that.
Any other best quotes?
That's it for me.
Yep, me too.
Any bro moments?
I have a couple. And it's in the beginning. My first one was the mom straight poking the customer while the lady's trying on the dress,
Oh yeah.
and you just see her in the background while she's talking to Joe, just straight poking her with
Yeah.
needles, and she goes, "Ow!"
She's like, "You're gonna take that full-time job, right?" And the lady's all, "Please say yes."
Yes. And that was my first one. I was like, "Bruh, just do your job."
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, what about the whole he gets the full-time job, paid promotion and all that stuff, and then he's like not even happy about it.
Yeah, it
I
was
He's
like,
like, bro, what?
If that's not what you love, you're not gonna be excited about it. So I kind of understood what he. I mean, I've never experienced it, but I kind of understand where he's coming from.
True.
Because
yeah.
he doesn't want to do that for the rest of his life. He doesn't
Mhm.
want to be stuck out of middle
For-
school.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, the bro moments that I have down, we've kind of already talked about.
Okay.
The main one just being that we find out that Joe dies when things are just about to look good for him.
Yep.
And whenever we find out that Joe's soul goes into the cat and then 22 into Joe.
Yeah.
Mm.
But other than that, I was just fully entranced in the movie. I couldn't even think about anything in regards to bro moments.
Yeah. What about seeing the cat on the elevator to the great beyond?
Oh, yeah.
See that
Going-
little- When I saw that, I was like, bro, they killed that cat.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Do you have any?
The last one I have, actually, there's two. One of them is when Terry is about to look through all those freaking filing cabinets.
Holy
Oh, yeah.
There's like 100 billion that he looks through and he
Dude.
just goes, a lot of Garcias in this one.
I heard that. I said,
He's getting awful
getting
close.
close.
No,
Awful
not
close
even
to
that. That's
Gardner.
kind of like a lot of Garcia. That's a big
Well,
name.
Just
Yeah.
a common last
Yeah,
name.
it's a common last
Oh,
name
like-
for sure.
He went through some goings.
Yeah. No?
No, he didn't say it, but I know he went, oh no,
He
GA.
stuffed GA.
Ah, I didn't get my representation.
Hey, I got mine though. He went through E.
Oh, true. But yeah, that was such a cool. It's something that worked for me too because they put these little weird like time limits on things that make you feel like, oh, we're rushed, and that's one of them where he starts through it's like A, and you think, okay, we got a lot of freaking time, but
Yeah.
now he's in the GAs,
Yeah.
and you're like, holy crap, he's close to Gardner.
Yeah.
We gotta get going.
Yeah.
He's right there because Garcia's. Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Because it's
freaking coming up.
GARC.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Gardner's GARD.
Yep,
Yes.
it's coming up.
I didn't. Oh shoot.
Yeah. What about him running into Dorothea in the hospital gown?
Yeah, that was huge.
That was freaking huge,
Yeah.
dude. When she goes, what the heck?
She goes, teach.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, oh, he ruined it.
Yeah.
The last one is just seeing those lost souls. They were kind of. I said, bro, these creatures look kind of scary.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of liked the way they looked. I thought they were cool. Like these like big like just blobs with eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they were creepy.
Yeah.
I like the way they sounded.
Make a trade.
Make a droid. Make a droid.
All right. Any other bro moments?
No.
No, that's it.
All right, let's get into facts then.
Yeah. So I'll start with the budget. From what I found, the budget was 150 million. And box office brought 120.9
Mhm.
million.
Okay.
And I'm only assuming because it was streaming only.
Yeah, this was peak pandemic.
Peak pandemic,
So
yeah.
No
obviously,
theatrical release at
yeah,
all.
No,
So-
no chance of it having a box office release. So
But I still think that's quite a bit of money for just
just
Disney
streaming.
Plus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just that's amazing.
most definitely.
For
Um,
I
so
don't think
I
it
don't
should be
consider-
counted as a flop.
I don't consider it as a
Like-
flop, but money wise, it's considered a flop.
Yeah,
Sadly.
I have down also. This is an Oscar winner.
Really?
Yes, this Oscar won Best Original Score and Best Animated Film.
I was say I think it won 2, right?
Best animated
Yes.
film.
Was it?
Won Best Animated Film for its year and Best Original Score that year for Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor.
Trent Reznor.
Dang.
Nice.
Was it nominated for anything else? You know?
Yes, I believe it was nominated for a couple other things in the Oscar categories. I'm forgetting exactly
Best
what.
sound. I found it right now,
Okay.
and that's the only one that didn't win. But dang, it's an Oscar-winning film.
That's crazy.
That's cool.
I wanted to talk about a little bit of some of the initial drafts of this film. So, in an initial draft, 22 was the main character rather than Joe. 22 had a strong dislike for Earth, and the film took place entirely in the Soul world.
Oh, wow.
And then Joel was created to help show her why Earth was worth living in.
Mm.
That would have been weird. Another thing that I blew my mind is that initially, he originally would have been a white man who was interested in animation. Before that, he was changed to a rock star.
A rock star.
Yeah, and then he finally was changed to a black man who liked jazz,
Yeah.
which would have been a completely different story.
Yeah, I think
Because
so.
jazz was a crucial part.
Yeah.
Imagine him like trying to code.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh man.
I can't get these textures to look right.
No, it would remind me of PB from Grandma's Boy.
Oh gosh.
That's what it reminded me
yeah.
of.
So whenever I heard that, I was like, would have been so different.
Yeah.
So I wrote down facts that I thought were pretty cool, in my opinion. So at around 20 minutes in the movie, the first soul assigned is the number 108,210,121,415. This lines up with the current as of release estimate from the PRB, which is the Population Reference Bureau, which estimates that there were more 108 billion humans at that time alive when they released the
that's
movie.
cool.
Oh, when they released.
When they
Okay.
released that movie.
Yeah.
So
That's
at
cool.
that point, that's about how many people were
Were
on Earth
alive.
at the time.
108 billion of us.
That's crazy.
That just shows you, because we only have, what, like 8 billion now?
Yeah.
How many people have died?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We only have 8 billion?
Yeah. I thought so.
No.
I don't remember.
Or, no, wait. I can't remember. Is it billion or trillion?
I'm not sure.
I'm playing myself
It's
for a
something I
fool
don't.
right now.
It's something I don't keep up with often.
I don't keep up with it at all. 7.7 billion.
Yeah. So I
Okay.
knew it was 7. Trillion. 7 billion. I knew it.
If it was trillion, we're way overpopulated.
we're sitting side by side.
yeah.
Yeah. No way.
Bro, we lost 100 billion
Yeah.
in 2 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Bro, that's crazy.
Wait, what? You said in 2 years?
20
No. This is saying like of all of human population.
Yes. That's what it.
Not in
that-
just 2 years. That's
not,
like
that's not saying like currently there's 108
Oh.
billion.
no, like
It's saying of all of history.
have existed on. I
Yeah,
don't
like-
even know my own
Yeah.
of
fact.
all history. Imagine 100. Dude, our population scale would be. Whoa!
Yeah.
Oh, dude, we would be.
A mass extinction event.
Seriously. It's like worse than Thanos. Imagine.
That's like 70-something% gone.
Jeez.
That's insane.
I don't even know my own facts. dude.
That's a big Death Note
I'm
moment.
thankful. True.
Yeah.
True.
One of the facts I have in regards to 22's name, it's actually a reference to the paradox known as the Catch-22 paradox.
Oh.
And
Which
if,
is what?
if you don't know what the Catch-22 paradox is, it's kind of like a situation where, you know, you want to say yes or no to a certain thing, but regardless of what you say yes or no to, the outcome's always going to be the same.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right? Let's say like you're scared of, or like you have to fly in order to do these missions. You either say, yes, okay, I'll do it. Okay, you fly to do your mission. Or you say no because I'm scared to fly.
So you gotta drive.
And so no, people are going to say, that's a rational fear. Regardless of, you know, your fear, you still have to fly to do the mission. So you're going to fly to do the mission.
Mm.
You know, regardless of what you think, it's called a Catch-22.
Mm.
And that's what her name was in reference to. In this
No
case,
matter what, she's going to Earth.
yeah, in this case, the only way to find out that life is worth living is by living life.
Mm.
Yeah.
I also have another one reference to her name is Pixar used her name 22 because 22 was the number of Pixar movies before Soul.
Oh, wow.
That's interesting.
Another thing I thought of, I really questioned it because each one, they get their like little personality cards and they're
What they
filled
meant?
with, they're filled with a bunch of stuff. And there's scenes of guys saying like, I'm a megalomaniac. Like all these like
Yeah.
weird, random characteristic quirks. And I was wondering what 22's was. Well, in the Art Book of Soul, it reveals that the meaning behind her symbols are a moody, extroverted cynic who's extremely punctual.
Nice.
Did you guys capture anything like any Easter eggs?
I saw the Pizza Planet truck.
I was gonna say that's the one thing I noticed.
Yeah.
And then A113.
Oh yeah, that's the
Yeah.
They use that in like all their movies.
Yeah.
I also heard about the ball. Is there the star ball thing?
I didn't see
The
the Pixar
Luxo ball.
I didn't
I
see the
don't know.
Pixar ball.
I only read it as a fact, but I
But
guess it's there.
I have a long one, but I don't think I'm gonna say it because it's a long fact.
Think it's interesting, man. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So at around 29 minutes, when 22 and Joe walk through 22's house, they pass a wall of name tags.
Dude.
And most of them, if not all, of 22 mentors are on there. In addition to the mentors shown on screen, these are the mentors. Jack Kirby, Joe Ranft, I don't know how to say that. It's R-A-N-F-T. Aretha Franklin, Grace O'Malley, Mary Johnson, Eleanor Roosevelt, Pablo Piasco, Joan of Arc, Amelia Earhart, Harvey Milk, Catherine the Great, Nelson Mandela, Harriet Tubman, Marvin Gaye, George Orwell, Nellie Bly, Maria Sklodowska? I don't know how to say that.
Dude, there's so many names.
Johnny Cash, Vincent Van Gogh, Babe Ruth, and I don't want to... Cy Loon?
I don't
What was the
know.
last
Just
one?
probably some extremely influential people.
I'm sorry if I
He
butchered
had
it.
Marie Antoinette try to give her a cake.
Give her cake.
Yeah, let
She's
there be
eating
cake.
Yeah.
Freaking Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
Andrew Jackson's on the 20?
He's like, what? What are the
Dude,
jokes
makes
that
Maria, Mother Teresa cry.
Yeah, true.
She's like, I have great compassion for everybody except
But not
you. I
you.
don't like you.
Yeah.
One of my facts is, according to one of the co-writers, Kemp Powers, the last line of the movie was originally written as "I'm not sure, but I know that I'm going to enjoy every minute of it." But it was changed to "I'm not sure, but I know I'm going to live every minute of it," because an animator had pointed out to him that life also has painful moments that we still have to live through.
Ooh.
Powers found that line was way more profound and decided to go with that instead.
I agree. From the last line, Jamie Foxx he says that he cried when he recorded the last line of
I
dialogue.
read that. I read that he cried reading the last line,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which
That's
I thought was
crazy.
insane.
Yeah. My last fact here is actually in regards to an alternate ending.
Oh. So he
So-
really does die.
So, there, in an alternate ending, Joe was touring with Dorothea Williams and teaching students privately on the side. 22 would end up being a new student, and Joe would recognize her. But according to Kemp Powers, this ending was rejected because there was something innately not satisfying about it.
Yeah.
I kind of wish we saw a little bit more of Connie.
That's part of what didn't work that we'll get into. But, dude, it's crazy. Okay, there's the whole... we've talked about the Pixar theory before, and I follow these guys, and they're like...
Pixar theory's wild.
The Pixar theory is wild. They're trying to figure out who 20... Because they think that 22 is going to be, like... is a soul that we know from other movies.
I
And
thought
they're
it was
like-
the girl from Inside Out.
Oh, maybe. I think her name is Riley.
Yeah, that's who I thought it was.
But no, they even say like, oh, well, the trajectory over they jumped through that hole to Earth. Well, you see that they're going to land in the Asian part of the world, and they like they start to like try to think
Dude,
about it all
no.
through. And I'm like, I'm sitting
She's
there.
going to be Raya from The Last Dragon.
I'm sitting there going, dude, this is crazy.
It's a reach. Some of the Pixar theories.
It's kind of you
they're
have to
reaching for
believe
it.
some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
That's insane.
But I do think they are all linked.
They might be. I mean, they're very convincing. When you look at the Pixar theory in whole, it's very convincing.
Okay.
But I wouldn't have liked seeing that ending
Yeah, me either.
that you mentioned. Maybe of him dying.
Yeah.
That might have been like, whoa.
Well, what didn't work for you guys, if we're done with facts?
Honestly, I think it was like short. I feel like
You thought it was short?
It was about 2 hours long.
Was it
What
2
was
hours?
An hour 50.
See, I
Yeah.
felt like they had more time to make some of these more ideas like breathe. And I really wanted more of Connie because I think she could have been a super interesting character to dive deeper into.
Yeah, I think that too. I really would have liked to see where her passion would take her.
Yeah.
Or to see like maybe her like even, you know, continue to go through with her passion for music regardless of what the other students thought.
Yeah.
And like maybe even like her rubbing off on a classmate and realizing like, hey, like
What
this
if-
is something that I love. Maybe you don't love music, but you might love painting or, you know, playing video games or something. Like,
Yeah.
you should
We
try
get
it.
just the
you know?
littlest of glimpses of into her character, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Disney, if you're
it's
listening to this,
interesting.
I got a marketing idea, making a movie named Life, and it's the life of Connie who runs into 22.
Mm.
That'd be cool.
I'd watch it.
I would watch it.
I'd watch that.
Unofficial sequel.
Yeah.
Unofficial sequel. Just like when they said we were gonna get Boo. We never got Boo.
Oh yeah, true. I remember that. Weirdly, I remember that.
Yeah. What about you guys? I'm interested
I
to
don't
hear.
have much that didn't work. I enjoyed it. I loved it. There wasn't anything that took me out of the movie. I watched everything. Like, I didn't go on my phone once.
Yeah.
I'll say the only thing that it's kind of, it's not something that didn't work for me, but I just noticed it. So I think it was like only right to put it in this category.
Okay.
But I just noticed that the film kind of wears a lot of its influences on its sleeve.
Mm.
Like I can tell that it was really influenced by It's a Wonderful Life because they kind of have the same premise.
I think I read a fact that it was influenced around some of the movies like that.
Yeah, he dies
Yeah.
and gets taken out.
Yeah, and he's able to like see his whole life, you know, in context, or he's able to, you know, look at the big picture and realize like, you know, life is really worth living, and you know, I need to be thankful for the things that I have.
Mhm.
And regardless, you know, I think that something like that will always work, because especially if you have a wonderfully written character
Mhm.
like Joe or like George Bailey, and I don't know, I had found out that like when I finished watching it, I was like, wow, I really loved that. It reminded me a lot of It's a Wonderful Life,
Mm.
and I just when I thought about it in that frame, I was kind of like, oh man, is that maybe a good thing or not? But I think that they, you know, Soul, you know, initially ends up taking their story and putting their own spin on it and making it something completely fresh
Mm.
by the end of it. Which, if we're done with what didn't work, I can go into what did work for me.
Yeah.
Let's get in it.
So, kind of jumping into that train of thought that I was going into there, I think that this film has insanely good writing, and it feels completely original and fresh, especially for a Pixar movie.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, I feel like, one of the rare instances where a Pixar movie doesn't follow its like normal formula, and it breaks out of the mold, and it's really refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
And I found myself like at the end of it being like, wow, I really enjoyed that. And usually I'm not like a Pixar person, and I could probably genuinely say like this is maybe my favorite Pixar movie.
Yeah.
Like it's something that made me, you know, think about things, and like not only that, it made me laugh, it made me cry, it was beautiful to look at. Like I enjoyed every aspect of it. I loved the jazz in it. It was great, and I have to say I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. It was the first place I was going to start is just the beautiful animation. I think Disney never really misses on this.
Oh yeah.
Like they always get it perfect. And I think that they really did a cool thing of like the world itself was extremely realistically detailed, and yet they still kept like the stylized characters
Yeah.
Yeah.
and how they are able to emote like vividly, you know, and not just be like uncanny valley real humans. I think it would be it wouldn't
Yeah.
work. It wouldn't work well. And I think that like that's the whole point of animation and being like in a computer is that you
Yeah.
just have the freedom to make your characters do whatever the heck you want them
yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
And they always hit it. And here especially they do.
Yeah.
I think this is a movie that adults should watch.
Mm.
Like I know a lot no shade to you know, obviously don't Pixar's not your first choice. But I think this is a movie that where you tell an adult, hey, you should watch this movie, that they would appreciate it.
Mm.
I don't think adults really appreciate Pixar movies or animated films in general, because they're like, oh, it's a kids movie, it's animated.
Mm.
But I think this movie has such a great story, such great meaning. You could even take something from it. Like, I think you should just watch it.
Yeah.
And I think it's extremely rewatchable.
Yeah. I have to agree. I think that I could potentially find myself rewatching this, or maybe even owning it.
Really?
I would buy it. Yeah.
Like I would not be opposed to buying this and owning it and having it in my collection.
Nice.
I also have to say the score and the
Beautiful.
music used in this film is just impeccable.
It hits.
I found myself listening to the score today.
Heck yeah,
And
really.
I even went and added some of the songs to my playlist
Nice.
for film scores that I love, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's impactful. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross are the goats. They know what they're doing, and they have a style all their own that like you can like distinguish and be like,
Yeah.
oh, that's got to be them,
Yeah.
you know. And then also, you know, just the use of jazz throughout the movie, I think, is really good. Jazz has this ability to like convey emotion through music, and it's music without words, and you're able to, you know, play an instrument a certain way, and you know, you're able to, you know, communicate whether or not how you're feeling that day. If you're feeling good, are you feeling sad? And they go through every aspect of jazz, I think, in this movie, and they do it so effectively. And I really appreciated that.
Yeah. Another highlight of this film is definitely the voice acting.
Oh,
I
yeah.
enjoyed Jamie Foxx.
It's crazy because it doesn't. I know it's Jamie Foxx, but I didn't think it was him.
Right. He
that's-
blends into the role
That's
perfectly.
Yeah, that's Django.
Yeah.
That's Django.
That's Ray Charles.
Yeah,
That's so weird. It's so weird to see his range.
that's
of him.
Electro.
Yeah,
It's
he's got such a freaking weird range of him being like this completely intimidating fool that'll kill you without a second chance.
Yeah.
And then you get this high school teacher who's teaching jazz.
What's the
You know what I
song?
mean?
That he sings.
He sings Gold Digger with Conway. When
I'm in need.
Yeah.
That's him.
He also sings. There's a song with T.I. that you love.
I probably
You can tell.
Champagne on deck,
I'm the man.
Patron
That
on
one?
ice.
Yes.
Is that, is
Yeah,
that,
that one.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I love that song.
Why did I think you were singing, I'm the man, I'm the man?
You could tell everybody. He did
You
that
can
song?
have
Yeah.
whatever you like.
Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whatever you like. It's with T.I. I think.
Yeah,
That song is cool.
that is a good song.
If you love that song,
Baby,
one.
I know that you like me.
Yeah.
That's a
No, is it?
good one. Wait, I think that's even a
That's a
different
different song too, yeah. The baby, you know that I miss you.
I
just wanna get
you,
That's
but I
a-
can't
Telephone.
was the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gets me through the phone.
Yeah.
That's so
I know what
annoying.
song you're
Oh,
talking
God.
about.
It's you know it. We'll play it afterwards. I don't.
No,
wanna
I don't
get-
think it's. I don't think it's Jamie Foxx. It's just T.I.
He's just trying to throw
We're just loving
random
T.I.
facts out of here.
We're just loving T.I. here.
We just we give that kind of
Just
praise
like
out
me.
to Jamie Foxx. He deserves it even when he wasn't even a part of it.
What other things worked for this movie?
Sorry, I looked.
He's lost in the void. Oh, I will say, okay, I loved that. I loved how, first off, I thought it was a good idea to get us familiar with the idea of being in the zone with music. I think it's really easy to look at someone and know, like, I've seen piano guys before. Dude, they go into the zone and it's like they're making faces,
Yeah.
but they don't care.
Yeah.
They're like feeling the music as they're playing it, and they can't help but move their body.
Yeah, I've felt that with drumming.
Right.
And people, I hate it because people will come up to me and they'll be like, "Oh man, you're really into that day. You're all over the place." And I'm like, "Yeah, stop." Like, I feel
No,
like
I get
almost
you.
embarrassed by
This-
it,
But you're
but
in-
I'm like, I'm in it.
Yeah.
I,
I
feel
got
that
made
thing,
fun
you
of
know?
one time. I know it's nothing compared to like piano and like guitar and things like that. But I played the trumpet in high school and I had a solo, and with that I had to stand up
You had
and
to own it.
and you have to own it like
Yeah.
like Connie did, and I did it. And I remember I like started shaking my body when I did my solo.
Yeah.
And
just go,
one of the moms from band, she goes, "Why do you shake your body when you do your solo?" And I was like, "I'm enjoying."
why you ask these
what,
dumb
what kind of
questions?
shaking though?
I was like, I would like.
I imagine going,
Gyrating.
or like what? Can you give us a demonstration?
I'd go like
You're
this,
just
like,
going in.
just like-
Just,
Oh, that-
just feeling
Oh,
it.
I
She's
wouldn't
like, "Why do you
question
do
that.
that?" And I was like, "I don't know,
Feeling it,
like,
man. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the music."
Yeah.
And she was like, one parent actually told me to stop. She was like, "They can dock you points," and I was like, "It's a freaking
Okay.
competition. I care less. It's for school."
yeah.
Yeah.
You
Like, I
feel
don't
it.
care
You
about
got
it.
like it moves through you.
Yeah.
It moves from you.
Yeah,
You
And
know?
it was, I don't know.
And no, well,
but I get you.
To finish that thought, I enjoyed that they showed us music because I think it's easy, accessible, and it helps us understand what the being in the zone really means, because I feel like we've all experienced that. But they don't even say it can't just be only music. You see basketball players. You see people like there's
Acting.
Yeah, you see acting. You see all kinds of different things you can get lost in. Because I thought to myself, I was like, yeah, I felt it in maybe a less romanticized way of playing games.
Yeah.
Like I sit there and there's something that you feel. You just feel like everything is working right. Your brain to your fingers are working. And you just feel like you're in the zone.
Yeah.
And it's cool that they didn't exclude any of that. They said you're in the zone, and when you know. This is just one avenue to get people to understand. But it's a way to show people like you felt this and you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed that so much.
Yeah. Anything else for what did work
I don't think so.
about
It's
it?
just a good movie. It's just such a great movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, who wins the movie?
Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Jamie Foxx for
He
me.
killed it.
What are some themes? I've already said my one, so I'll say my other one real
I have
quick.
2. Yeah, go ahead.
It's just that there's beauty to be found in all aspects of life.
That's a good one.
Fact.
My first one I put, you just gotta enjoy the little things in life, and I feel like that's a pretty basic one.
Zombieland.
Yeah.
Gotta
Enjoy the little things.
Yep.
My second one I said, not everything needs to have a purpose, and just take things as they come, because we
Mhm.
never may know what's coming our way. But surround yourself with what you love, but don't let it consume you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put beauty in the mundane and the incredibly delicate line between passion and obsession.
Yeah.
And that's just as that quote you brought up of him saying that exact thing,
Mhm.
where you can be in the zone, but if you're stuck there too long, it's an obsession, and now it's going to be a detriment.
Yeah.
What's once was great is no longer great.
Can we talk about the one that said, I had an obsession, Tetris?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
He's like, I was there.
Yeah.
It's Tetris. How do you get consumed in that?
You're sitting there going,
Yeah. It's funny too. I have to say one thing I did really like about Soul as well was showing deliberate shots of people just like engulfed in their phones
yeah,
and like being
Like on the subway?
on a subway, and they're just like staying on their phones, and Joe kind of looks around and is like, what are you guys doing? And I find myself doing that. Like where like I'll be in a public setting or like waiting in line somewhere or something, and it's so easy to kind of just get on your phone and wait
Oh,
till you
yeah.
need to do what you need to
Yeah.
do. And I see, I don't know, I catch myself like doing what I'm doing, and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm just scrolling on my phone, and I look around and I see other people doing that too, and I'll be like, no, I'm putting it away, and I'm just gonna stand here,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna like be here in the moment and wait, because
I feel
that's what we're supposed to do.
Do you know?
like
I
I'm
get
gonna
you,
do that.
but I feel awkward sometimes when I'm just standing there.
Yeah, I do too. But then that's where thought comes in.
I was
That's
about
where
to say
you're
it-
able to like be like,
it engages.
yeah, you're like, man, I'm here in this thing. Like I have to buy this stuff. What am I gonna do when I get home?
Yeah,
What am I gonna
it-
eat for dinner?
It allows.
Do I want to watch this stuff tonight? Like, oh, am I gonna play Minecraft tonight with the boys? I don't know yet. Maybe I should text them after this.
Yeah.
I wonder how they're doing. Like, and you just it leads you on this
Yeah.
whole path.
I do get you on that.
Yeah.
Dude, I think I find myself everywhere I go on my phone, because I usually go places by myself. So it's like
Yeah.
I'm always on my phone.
There was a moment in my life where I deleted social media for like a good month, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I had found that I had no reason to be on my phone. And so like it was when I was working at Fastenal at the time, and I would finish up on a job, and usually I'd wait for my partner to come like pick me up so that way we could finish, and at those times I'd just be scrolling on Instagram or on YouTube or something.
Mm-hmm.
And when I didn't have that stuff, I just sat there, and I was just kind of like, man, okay, like now I got all this like weird free time. But I used it to like build relationships with people at these companies.
Yep.
And like talk with people and be
Yeah.
like, hey, what do you do? What do you like? I know that you don't want to do this. I know you hate building skyscraper,
Air
air
conditioning,
conditioning
yeah.
units. That's not what you envisioned for your life. What did you think you wanted to be when you grew up?
Mhm.
And like, it opens up, those tunnels for conversation and to, for deeper relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's one avenue I think this film is trying to get us to look into.
yeah.
Let's just say, just be present.
Yeah.
Be present.
Yeah.
And get rid of anything that distracts you from that.
Yeah. Most
So.
definitely. So what are we going to rate this movie?
I'm gonna look at you first because you.
Have you gone first before?
I don't think so.
I think I have.
Yeah, I
a
think
couple,
you have, yeah.
but I'm looking at you first because this is Pixar, and I just want to know what you think.
I'm going to give it an 8.
An 8.
Yeah.
I give it a 9.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I'm gonna give this one an 8.
Okay.
I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, I loved this movie. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well.
Okay,
So, with that being said,
that's it.
That's the pod.
that is the pods. Thank you guys for tuning in. We do appreciate it.
Yeah.
As always, leave us a like, a comment, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Turn on the bell notifications. Let us know what you thought of this movie. Have you seen it? Tell us in the comments. We would appreciate it. Also, you can use the comments on YouTube as well as, a channel for, telling us what you like, what you don't like.
Mhm.
Or you can do that over a rate and review on the audio platforms, whether that be Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Google, whatever you listen to us at. We do appreciate you guys tuning in and keeping this thing going. It is really cool to see you guys interacting with all this stuff and liking what we're doing. So if you continue to do so and you like what we're doing, let us know over those, through those platforms.
Yep.
You can also get in contact with us through our Instagrams or our Letterboxd accounts or an email. Tell us what you want us to review, what you like, what you don't like, all that stuff. It's open for you guys. So, we appreciate it. We appreciate you. With that being said,
Lay
Abe,
it on us.
what's your pick?
I'm doing an audience chosen one, which is actually my boss. I told him about.
He's trying to get a raise.
No, no. Ever since we started the podcast in 2020, I mentioned it to him,
Mm-hmm.
and he would always be like, "Do a movie for me," and I'm like, I said we got movies already. Do a movie for me, and I'm like, oh, maybe. And then he threw a movie out. He wanted me to do House of a Thousand Corpses,
Okay.
and I was like, I looked it up
maybe
and I
for
said,
Halloween.
and I looked it up. I said, maybe. And I was like, I don't want to do that movie. And then there's one day I think I was on a conference call, and he goes, hey, have you chosen a movie yet? And I was like, no. He goes, okay, do this movie. And then I was like, okay, fine. So the movie that I'm doing is Snatch, a 2000 film movie called Snatch. It has Jason Statham, Brad Pitt, and Stephen Graham.
Mm-hmm.
I know nothing
Alright.
about this movie.
Yeah,
I know that it's a Guy Ritchie film. That's
It is a Guy Ritchie film. It's written and directed by him.
Yeah, and the only thing I've seen from this movie is a clip from some of the cinema pages I follow, and I just hear Brad Pitt's wild accent that says, "Do you like dags?" And I'm like, what is this movie? I have no idea what it's about.
Yeah.
So I'm going into it blind just like you guys. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I think it's streaming on Netflix.
It
right?
is streaming on Netflix. And I think they just added on there, so you have time to watch it, which is
Okay.
good. So yeah, I don't know anything about this movie.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Guy Ritchie.
He's been
Crime
waiting. He's
comedy.
been waiting 2 years for it, so I guess this is your film.
All right.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I've seen nothing but those clips, and again, I know nothing about it. I'm
He says
excited
it's
to.
good.
I'm excited to go into it.
Yeah, I'm
and
open-minded, ready
yeah.
to love it, ready to hate it. Who knows?
It's one of the top rated movies on IMDb. It's 118
Oh wow.
Oh, okay.
out of the
Okay.
200, so it's
Nice.
on the list. So it has to mean
Right.
something.
Well, we'll find
yeah.
out next week.
So yeah,
All right. Well, check out Snatch, and tune in next week to hear what we think about that film. As always, this has been the Film Bros Podcast. Thank you, and good night.
good night.
Good night.